Hello and welcome to today's webinar for UCC's Level 9 Postgraduate Certificate in Project Management. My name is Sen Netsko. I'm the Executive Education Manager here in UCC's College of Business and Law. I'd just like to introduce the other participants today, each of whom will talk about their involvement in the programme, give you a comprehensive understanding of the programme, the curriculum content, learning outcomes, the structure, and the benefits to your organisation as well as the benefits to your own career planning. So Dr. Damien Tobin, who is here, is the Acting Programme Director and is based in the Department of Management and Marketing here in our business school. Damien lectures on the programme as well as being the Acting Programme Director. We're also delighted to welcome Seamus Collins, who is the CEO of Velopi, a company he established in 2007. Since then, they have worked with people, startups, multinationals, some of the largest organisations in the world to develop high-performance project managers and organisations. We are also joined, I suppose, just again to mention, Seamus is a very, very valued teaching partner with UCC for many years now as well on our project management programmes. We are also joined by Julian Power, who is a graduate of the programme, and Julian works as a process and technology engineer with Merck Millipore here in Cork. Julian will be able to advise on his experience of his programme learnings and how he's brought those into his workplace. At the end of today's webinar, I'll say a few words then about the application process, as well as providing my own contact details should you wish to have a one-to-one conversation as a subsequent follow-up to this. As we go through the speakers and through the content this morning, please feel free to add any questions you may have into the chat facility in this meeting, and we will address them then as we go. So with that, Damien, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thanks, Senan. So I'm going to start just by talking a little bit about the background to CUBS, some unique features of the programme, and we'll go through the structure and modules then, and I'll hand over to Seamus then, who'll talk a little bit about the some of the modules themselves and their content. So just starting with CUBS and who we are. CUBS, we're part of UCC. We're a school within the College of Business and Law. As most of you will know, UCC has a long history. Currently, we have around 24,000 students on campus, over 3,000 staff, and I suppose well over 200,000 alumni at this stage. So joining us and taking the postgraduate cert in project management would make you part of that. So just want to go on and say a little bit about what makes our program in project management unique. I suppose the first thing is, if you choose this program, and I suppose most people looking at program management qualification or project management qualifications will be looking around at different programs, and I suppose from different providers and wondering what is the difference. I suppose the main difference, or one of the standout differences of this program, is that it's offered by an NUI accredited and globally recognized university. It's a globally recognized qualification. It's offered at level 9, and there's a little chart there on the right hand side of your screen which shows the different levels that programs are offered at, and you can see everything from the Leaving Cert right up to a doctoral qualification, which would be ranked at level 10. We're level 9, so it's up there in terms of its accreditation and its ranking. Cork University Business School itself is ranked by both is accredited by both the ACSB and AMBA. These are two of the world's leading accreditation agencies for business schools. And again, if you look at any of the top business schools, they're all accredited by these agencies. In addition to that, or as part of that, I suppose we offer you hands-on experience of applying research-informed project management frameworks, theories. As part of that, we use classroom-based case studies, simulations, and group work, all to help you on your learning journey. We give you access to the latest business cases on management leadership and organizational alignment in successful projects. Again, you'll have access to UCC's library, UCC's online databases, and we make use of all of those in the classroom to help you again, learn, reflect, and deal with some of the challenges of studying project management. I think one of the unique parts of this program is that the on-campus aspect gives you an opportunity to network, both with current project management professionals who are taking the course, past students. We often invite these in to give invited presentations, and students from different sectors and different backgrounds who are taking the program as well. So, in classroom, there's always a lot of sharing of experience, building of contacts, building of networks, and these are all, important parts of the university journey. You also have the opportunity to work with lecturers who have expertise in current developments in project management. And again, we spend a lot of our time, I suppose, looking at the latest research, latest developments, and then bringing that back to the classroom. We have dedicated modules which allow you time to reflect and develop your project management skills. And again, that's quite an important part of a university qualification that might distinguish it maybe from other shorter courses. We build in time to reflect either through assignments or through classroom presentations. So you'll have an opportunity to reflect on what you learn in the classroom, write about it, and that's part of the assessment of the qualification. So again, that's a unique part, that it will give you that time to reflect and build your skills in project management. And finally, I suppose, being part of UCC, you'll have opportunity to access all the learning supports that we offer. We provide students with the opportunity to develop their writing skills, their presentation skills, through the UCC Skills Centre. And that can be particularly important if you're returning to education, maybe after 10, 15, 20 years, and maybe you're unfamiliar with some of the assessment criteria, and you want to build your skills in those areas. So we work with the UCC Skills Centre to give you the opportunity to do that. And again, students in past years have found that a very useful way of sort of easing the transition back into university and university assessments. So moving on there, just in terms of the program itself, what is the program? Well, I suppose the first feature of the program is that it's a part-time hybrid program. And in that sense, it's designed specifically for people who are working in careers, who have busy careers and are trying to balance education with a career, with family life, etc., etc. So we've designed it in that way, sort of part-time hybrid structure, which I'll talk more about. And that has come about, I suppose, over years of hearing from students regarding what way they would best like the program to be delivered. I suppose the second feature of the program is that it tries to balance of a mix of technical, managerial, and interpersonal skills that tries to maximize the impact of project managers in private, public, and not-for-profit organizations. I think that speaks to the variety of students that we get on the course. It's not just private sector students. We get a lot of students from the public and university sector and from not-for-profit organizations. And again, they all bring, I suppose, different experiences to the course. So really what I'd say is, regardless of what industry you're in, whatever your market or your organization type, if you're interested in project management, this program could be for you. So who is the program the Postgraduate Cert in Project Management for? I think we pick out three main people, I suppose, who the program is targeted at. The first really is those that want to formalize their project management qualification and to further develop their career. So again, the course gives you that chance maybe to formalize the experience you have in managing projects and to turn that into a formal university qualification. It's also designed for those who want to undertake project management professional PMP exams from the Project Management Institute. Again, we prepare you for that assessment. We give you the relevant hours that you'll need to complete that assessment. And it's also pitched at those who want an academic qualification plus the necessary skills to further their career. So really you get three things from the degree: a formalization of your project management skills, the opportunity for professional accreditation, and an academic qualification. So again, just to talk a little bit about the benefits of the program, I suppose the first big benefit is that you get a curriculum that is relevant to the current environment. It's current, it's informed by research of academics and practitioners working on project management, and it incorporates industry best practice. So these are things we're constantly looking at when we're designing our curriculum and our modules. It's delivered by academic staff in CUBS, many of whom are experienced project managers, either in the private or public sectors. And we do this in conjunction with our industry partner and accredited PMI educational provider, Velopi. And Seamus will talk a little bit later about that. We provide participants with the required hours and exam preparation for PMP exams. And and again, that's a useful opportunity both to get those hours in and to take the exam then once you've done them. And I think this is a really unique aspect of the program, is that collaboration between UCC and Velopi. And it's quite unique, I think, in the marketplace in terms of project management qualifications. So just to talk a little bit about the program delivery, and this is something I think that comes up in terms of, a lot of students' queries in terms of, whether they'll have time to be able to fit in the program, or what sort of, I suppose, commitment it would require over the years. So the first thing to say is that it's a part-time program, and it's delivered over 1 year through a mix of attendance at lectures and online lectures held in the evenings. And we also combine that with self-directed study or self-directed learning methods, which, all in all, give you the hours required to complete the degree. It runs from September through to May. So our current cohort are just finished last month. We start in September, and we try schedule the modules in a balanced way over the entire academic year. As I said, we operate a hybrid approach, which again is quite unique in terms of these programs. Our delivery method is an one online class per week. We've scheduled this for Wednesday from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. and one in-day on-campus class per month. So that's a full 1 day per month that you would be on campus. We also reflect this in the way we structure our assessments. So we have a mix of assessment methods, including presentations, essays, personal reflections, case studies, online discussion forums, and a simulated exam, which prepares you for PMP, the PMP certification exam. So again, there is no actual, we'll say, written exam or final written exam. All the assessment is it's cumulative assessment, so it takes the form of presentations, essays, or personal reflections. And again, we structure those in a way throughout the year that you'll have a balance of assessments. You won't be doing too many assessments at one time. We try structure them in such a way to give you time, so that you have time to complete them, time to submit them, and then you get feedback on those from your lectures, which obviously will help you with your subsequent assessments. So those assessments again will involve, a mixture of individual and group work. Individual work is to assess your own individual performance on the program, and also group work, which I suppose is very much a part of projects anyway. And that will assess your interaction and your ability to work as part of a group to deliver an assignment or a project. Okay, so just to talk a little bit about the way the program runs throughout the year. So as I said, the program starts in mid-September and runs through until May. In mid-September, we have a full day orientation on campus. So everyone on the program comes in and we give you an orientation in terms of the campus, some of the learning supports, the program itself. And that occurs in mid-September and before you start your first module. Your first module on the program is MG 6810. It's Project Management Principles. It's delivered by Seamus and it's 10 credits. So what we mean by 10 credits is that your standard module that you take at university is a 5 credit module. So a 10 credit module is double that. So that would be essentially the biggest module that you'll have on the program. So it's 10 credits out of a total of 30 credits that you'll complete. As part of that, you'll have two full days on campus and 9 3-hour classes. So that's the first module you'll take. The next module then you take is MG 6815, Management and Organization, and I deliver that module. You have 1 on-campus full-day class for that and 5 online 3-hour classes. Again, that usually occurs around November, December. Then after the Christmas break, you'll have MG 6817, which is the Project Management Bootcamp module. Again, that's also a 5-credit module. You'll have 1 on-campus full day and 5 online 3-hour classes as part of that. Then you move on to MG 6832, which is another 5-credit module. It's the Effective Project Manager. It's 1 on-campus full-day class and 5 online 3-hour classes. And then your final module is MG 6813. Again, it's another 5-credit module. It's Current Developments in Project Management. You have 1 on-campus full-day class and 5 online 3-hour classes. So you can see there that, really we try structure it in a way that all the modules are running one after the other. We try not overlap modules, and that's maybe a bit of a distinction between a normal postgraduate on-campus course that you might take versus a hybrid course. So in a non-campus course, you could be doing 3 or 4 modules at the same time. In this, we try structure it in such a way that you're doing the modules consecutively. And that helps people organize maybe how they're going to complete the assessments. We give you a timetable at the start of the year with the assignment dates so that you can have an idea when they'll be due and when your next one will be due and so on. So that's our modules, and just to show you again that we have 5 modules as part of the course. They make up to 30 credits and they're distributed, 1 module 10 credits and the other 4 modules are 5 credits. All of those modules are aiming towards what we call the program learning outcomes. And the program learning outcomes are really what you should have achieved in terms of your learning journey by the end of the postgraduate certificate. And you'll see these also on each modules that you undertake. Each module also has a set of learning outcomes. And these are really, not just what we assess the modules or the program in terms of, but also they're the sort of things you should be looking at and saying, at the end of each of these, have I achieved the individual learning modules? And when I'm finished the program, I should be able to say that I've achieved the program learning outcomes. So our first program learning outcome is that you demonstrate advanced analytical and problem-solving skills associated with effective project management practice. So again, as we're delivering our modules, we're giving you the tools and frameworks in order to give you the skills to analyze, to problem solve, and that are associated with good project management practice. The second program learning outcome is to be able to apply practical tools, techniques, and conceptual models in order to maximize the value of the project management process. Our third is that you critically appraise how projects contribute to an organization's ability to realize its strategic goals and business benefits. Our fourth is that you communicate and work effectively to a high professional standard. And our fifth is that you apply strategic thinking and leadership skills to projects of various sizes and complexities. So there are program learning outcomes. I'm going to hand over now to Seamus, and he's going to take you through some of the modules and some of the things you can expect, to have learned once you've finished individual modules.
Okay, thank you, Damien. I've been involved with the program for almost 10 years at this stage, so I have a pretty good understanding of what's in the course and how the course has developed over a number of years and why these modules make up part of the course. And it has evolved over the years based on student feedback, based on the changing environment we've seen even in that short space of time. So the main module we start off with, and I just want to briefly take you through a bit of content here so you get a bit lower and see exactly what's in the course and say, actually, yeah, that's relevant to me. And before you even start, they say, actually, yeah, that's something I really need to improve on. And many courses might take you through some, classic stuff at a very just a basic level. But as Damien pointed out, this is a level 9 course. And I saw recently that many companies, there was a survey and it said somewhere between 10 and 20% of budget on projects is wasted due to poor project management practices. So when you consider the amount of money companies are spending in the hundreds of millions, 10 to 20% is a lot of money. And so we don't need just more project managers. We need really better project managers. And that's what this course is about. It's not just to get another bunch of project managers out there. It's really to develop people and bring them up so they're capable of managing big projects and saving their company a huge amount of money. Okay, so we start off with the first module, MG 6810, and this really, I would say, is the foundation. And even if you're not, sometimes we might get people coming on the course that are not even project managers, but they want to move their career in this space. But very quickly they realize they've been doing project management without ever being called the project manager, and that's why some people would say it's an accidental profession in some case. But we start off very carefully with you to make sure you have the basics and you have those right. Plus then lead on from that. So all the classic modules in project management are covered in this big module. Everything from scoping, scheduling, cost, quality, resourcing, communication, risk, procurement, stakeholder, and integration. And we're going to cover all those modules over that first semester in this module. And not just the classic thinking, but in every case, we'll be saying, actually, this is another way now of looking at this. This is many different academic papers and studies on what is the latest thinking on any one of these topics. But you will get the foundation. So don't be afraid that, hang on, should I go on some smaller course first or an easier course? This is at level 9, and many people on the course will already have degrees, etc. So you're at level 8. So this is a natural next step for many people to get something that's really going to bring value into their career and into their organization. But this first module is really to get your foundation right and ensure that is right. And just I suppose the key points on this as well is that it's going to be practical, some of this. So we're going to get into concepts like risk, stakeholder, scoping, scheduling, and point out pitfalls that are in, and people realize very quickly, actually, I've been doing that wrong. Tell me that again. And that's why part of the assessment of this module is reflection. And we'll get you to reflect on a number of different lectures and the artifacts of project management when we do this course. And that's a very important thing, this concept of reflection. And Damien mentioned it earlier, because apparently we do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on the experience. So often we'll hit you with something, I won't say not physically, we'll hit you with some thought in a class and you'll go, hang on a second, I didn't think of it like that. But it's when you reflect and say, actually, no, what am I going to do now going forward armed with this new knowledge? So you learn from that reflection. In this module as well, we're going to get you to do a group case study. So you're going to do some work on your own, you're going to do some work in a group. And it's really a continuous assessment. So it's not like a big exam at the end. You're going to be supported all the way through. You're going to get to ask me questions every week on, what you mean by this. So it's very supported along the way. But the classic thing you will see with the group casework is that project managers want to manage teams, but project managers hate being in teams themselves. So the group casework will you learn a lot about team behavior and team dynamics while you are part of that team as well. So that's the first module. Get the foundations right. Make sure that you really understand the basics of project management. Module 2, the PMP Bootcamp. And again, why are Velopi involved in the course? Well, we're a project management authorized training partner, which means we have the latest materials from PMI. So we can help you prep for this exam. Why is it included though in the course? Well, historically, when we put the course together, we would have met people that maybe had masters in project management or certs in project management diplomas, but they say, I need my PMP as well, because a lot of our client base was the American multinational. So they wanted the academic certification from UCC and the professional certification from the PMI. So rather than having a person having to go to two different places for two different things, we said, actually, let's make this a one-stop shop. And that's been very popular with the students over the years to actually equip them to do the PMP as part of the course. So you will take the course, we'll prep you internally, and we'll cover off additional concepts for the PMP exam. And one of the big things we'll be covering off with you in this module is Agile. Right, a lot of Agile content in the PMP exam. So we'll be covering off really the Agile approach in this module, which is very topical. And some people might be saying, well, actually, I'm coming from medical device, or I'm coming from a health, life science, or I'm coming from pharma. Maybe Agile is not relevant to me, or they've taught this. But actually, when they listen to the lecture in class and learn from it, they actually can cherry pick and say, actually, some of this Agile approach could be used and could give us benefit at work. So again, nice learning curve here, some great concepts here, but then you can also go and take your PMP exam separately, knowing that you've been fully prepped for that. Okay, and we're a PMI provider for that as well. So it's a great partnership, and that's how that works. The next module up is really, if you think about it, many of us have worked for project managers who might be great project managers in terms of scheduling tools and budgeting and pivot tables and everything else, but nobody wants to work for them. And if you think about it, at the end of the day, it's people do the work. And you need to get the people to work. And you need the people to work together and take ownership for the project. And very often, sometimes people don't have the people skills, that human side, those human factors. And sometimes we've blind spots ourselves in our behavior that's leading people to not enjoy working with us or for us, or whatever way you want to put that. But this module is all about human factors. It's about you as the leader, you as the project manager, and I suppose really looking at your own skill set here. And if you think about it, in any project team, there's a dynamic, there's conflict, you need that emotional intelligence, you need that stakeholder management, you need to be able to manage the politics of it. And we see a lot of this in industry at the moment, that a lot of projects do not fail because of scope, schedule, or cost. They fail because we fail to manage the stakeholders. So this really is to force you into what was, I would say, an unfortunate term. In some cases, people would say the soft skills, and we take that for granted, but you can't take it for granted. I would say they're more difficult nearly to learn than the hard skills, the scoping, the scheduling, the budgeting, the risk management. So this will really open people's minds up to how to manage that team, how to lead the team, what leadership style really impacts the project, how to negotiate for resources, and again, how to manage the stakeholders. So this really module, it's a 5-credit module, but think about where you work today. It's a constant it's a politics. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's people blocking projects, blocking coalitions. How do you manage the stakeholders? How do you manage the expectation? How do you reset expectation? So a very, very powerful module. And this will take, people might look at it initially and say, oh, that's about soft skills. Well, the PMI would say it's about power skills now. And again, this great feedback on this module. Okay, and that'll probably be given by Gillian from the department. I think we'll probably be delivering this one. Okay, on to the next one, Senan, please. Management and organization. I suppose this now, as I said, Damien probably delivering this module, but this now is looking at management or projects in the wider context, and even looking at organizational structures, even thinking about project management offices. Are they temporary? Are they permanent? And again, trying to this, you can see here where the things it's getting into, how organizational structure can constrain you, how it can help you, how it can hinder you, etc., etc. And I suppose this idea of there's the relationships that exist in organizations. There's culture, there's certain norms that exist in organizations, and that needs to be explored. And you will get a great, insight into some of the latest papers, the latest thinking, some classic writers, maybe Drucker, Mintzberg, etc., and their views on the differences between leadership and organization, how one may, how do they fit together, etc., etc. So again, very useful module, not to just get you away again from scoping, scheduling, and open your mind up to the bigger organization, because your project exists in an organization, and sometimes that organization may not be willing to change. There may be a certain culture there. You need to understand the context, that wider context in which your project exists. Okay. So, and the last one then, the last module is called Current Developments in Project Management. Now, historically, this module might have been known as Current Issues in Project Management. But the whole idea here is some people think that the PMI view of the world in the project management body of knowledge, the PMBOK, is the only way. But it's not the only way. There are many other schools and theories around project management and the value of project management, etc. And this module really is to, again, explore other views. A big part of this module as well, though, is evaluating troubled projects. And if you think about it, many people can manage a project when it's going well, but what do you do when it starts to go wrong? And how do you work your way out of a corner as opposed to digging a deeper hole for your project? So one of the big modules in this module itself is how to rescue a troubled project. And again, as I said at the start, anybody can drive on a sunny day. Anybody can take a simple project and lead it through. But projects today are complex. And we need better project managers to manage these huge initiatives that are costing a lot of money. And you're going to face trouble sooner or later along the way. And you need the tool set, you need the frameworks, you need the models to be able to get out of that corner. Okay, so without getting any further into them, that's what the modules of the course are. And I'm happy to talk to anybody about that after if they have specific questions themselves they want to answer. I've invited along Julian Power today as well. He's a former student of the class. And Julian, I hope you can hear me at this point. Yes or no? We need to unmute you 1 second. Can we unmute Julian there, please? Senan. Julian, 1 second. I can't unmute you, Julian, sorry. Are you the owner, Senan? Can you unmute?
Yeah, just bear with me now.
And I brought Julian along, and I had some questions I was going to put to him, because it's always good to get some feedback from a former student as to, why they chose this course, how did they balance the need for between work and, the course itself, what did they learn, how did they network, how challenging was it, etc., etc. Having some trouble unmuting, are we?
I'm back there now. Can you hear me?
I can, Julian. Can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry about that. Typical, just restarted as I started to talk. Thanks for introduction.
Okay,
I suppose
Go for it, please.
Yeah, introducing myself. So I'm a process engineer here at the Merck site, Merck Millipore. I'm a recent graduate from UCC as well. So I graduated from process engineering in 2022. So I suppose I was back at UCC after only a year out, really, I suppose. But I suppose one of the reasons I chose the project management level 9 course, it's really important for me to, I suppose, continue my education even after I've graduated with my undergraduate. I was working as an engineer, as I said, and I was kind of dealing with running my own smaller projects here on site. So many of the senior management staff, they had formal project management experience themselves. So the idea of getting a qualification myself was always in the back of my mind. And I suppose the process of running a project was something that I enjoyed, but I wanted to have my own concrete skills and practices as well, just to facilitate it. It was also important to me, as you said earlier, to study somewhere and get an accredited qualification to demonstrate my skills. So a level 9 was perfect for me, for something to work with for the year and get at the end of it was brilliant. As I said, I graduated from UCC already, so I was familiar with the institution, and I suppose I was probably keen to work there again. And look, it was convenient for me as well because it was close to where I'm working and living. So now there was people who commuted from other parts of the country, and I suppose the online learning facilitated that, which was great. So I suppose that just demonstrates that it's a course that it's accessible no matter where you are, and I suppose in the country.
Okay, thanks, Julian. And Julian, just was it relevant? How did it help your career then when you went back to work with what we were talking about every week? Because what we're all trying to do is make sure that we're closely aligned to industry and it's something you can apply. Can you just maybe comment on that? Did it help your career straight away then in terms of application?
Yeah, incredibly. So like one of the things in Merck they find, I suppose, attractive for people who work here is that they're looking to continuously improve. And I suppose when I suggested doing the project management, they backed me the whole way. So they funded it. And also the feedback that I'm getting from management is that they're keen to give me an opportunity to use the skills that I've gained. So I know it's very early since I've just completed the course, just on the current cohort, I suppose, but it's already actually opening doors for me. So they've moved me on to a different production area, which is, I suppose, it has two of our biggest products on site, so it'll be one of the most important. And I've also just been assigned a large-scale improvement project as well for one of the processes. So that was one of the things I found very important, not even when I had completed it, but just that I was looking to get this experience. They're keen to let you show off what you can do as well.
Okay, good stuff. And I suppose, what type of people did you meet, I suppose, from a networking point of view? You just maybe a brief comment on that.
Yeah, it was great. So like, I suppose what I was looking for in terms of classmates were people who were like-minded, but I suppose people who were open to speaking their mind as well, and definitely had that with a really good group of people who had no problem, I suppose disagreeing openly, both online and in the classroom sessions, which is a great way of learning. It's a good way to getting other people's opinion, but as well, I suppose I'm only very early into my career, and there was a lot of people who've a kind of a mixed bag of project management experience, people who've had 20-30 year careers and people who are only just starting as well. So getting all those people in a room and talking about the course content was a great way of unpacking it. And as well, some of our assignments, they're very reflective based, which I thought was constructive. And it's a good way of speaking your opinion, but also incorporating other people's opinions in your assignments as well, which I suppose is different to what I would have experienced with my engineering undergrad.
That's true. And it's people coming from, I suppose, so many different backgrounds, as you said, different levels of experience, that you can go in all guns blazing, but you actually have to sit back after a while and say, actually, I could learn from this person as much as I've learned in class. So no, that's really useful. Just one maybe comment, Julian, because I know you're a busy person as well, obviously, given where you work and personal life and everything else. How onerous was it, or was it manageable? That's the main question I think a lot of people have, is how am I going to take this on? How am I going to manage it?
Yeah.
Maybe comment on that.
Yeah, I suppose, look, in the middle of it, people are always going to feel, when you're doing assignments, that it's a little bit overwhelming. In reality, it is manageable. I mean, the course, it's paced very well. The amount of content that's actually covered is, for me, was perfect anyway, because it gave the opportunity both to learn enough content, but also to digest it. And there's plenty of time to do the assignments and stuff. So, you know, I was working full time the whole way through it. I suppose I would have even enjoyed more time on campus, but I think probably one Friday a month is perfect. And then on the Wednesday evenings, it was great as well. So look, for me, it was manageable. Other people might have another opinion, but I thought it worked very well.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Julian. We'll leave it at there. So, but if anyone has any
Thanks.
questions for me or wanted to talk to Julian, I'm sure he'd talk to you privately as well. So thank you, Julian, and thank you, everyone. I'll hand you back to Senan. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Seamus. So I'm just going to say a few words now in relation to the application process. So again, if you just bear with me, I'm just going to share my screen. And I suppose in terms of the application process and the application requirements, if you were interested in applying for a place on this program, we do have a number of threshold entry requirements. So the first one would be that you would possess a second class honours grade 2 in a primary honours degree. That's a level 8 degree or an equivalent. So for example, level 8 higher diploma, and at least 2 years of, it says their industrial experience, but I think, look, in terms of professional experience would be a more appropriate phrase there. Now, I just want to draw your attention to this one, which is a consideration under recognition of prior learning. So under that RPL, applicants who do not fully meet the above criteria, but who have some significant senior professional experience in related fields such as engineering, construction, operations and software development can be considered. So what that means, if you don't have a second class honours grade 2 primary honours degree, but you have over the course of your career amassed a number of years of relevant experience, relevant professional experience, then we are happy to review CVs in relation to that, and we can advise accordingly then whether we feel that you would meet that criteria threshold. As part of the application, all applicants are required to complete a motivation statement. So I suppose that really is just going into giving you a chance to go into a little bit more detail about yourself, about your experience, your career to date, about your own background, and I suppose also just to kind of give a sense of the motivation and the purpose of undertaking this program, and I suppose just to really give the academic directors a sense of your momentum, I suppose, in terms of post-qualification, where you would like to take the qualification with you, and I suppose where you'd see your career developing. Just again, gives them a good insight, I suppose, in terms of a good 360 view of yourself, really, you know. Now, participants will be selected on the basis of the information supplied in the application and the supplementary information. And just to note that the university does reserve the right to interview applicants to help make determinations. In terms of the application process itself, so there is a website, ucc.ie/apply, which is the application portal. So when you go to that website, you will need to create an account in order to make an application. Now, there is a €50 charge, administrative charge for all applications on UCC Apply. Just to note that if you are interested in proceeding with an application to the programme, I can supply you with a waiver code which will dispense with that €50 administrative charge. So just to be aware of that. So when you go to that website, you do create your account. You would choose the postgraduate course options and follow the instructions accordingly. And again, choosing the postgraduate certificate in project management. And that will commence your application. There will be two sections. I suppose the generic application form, again, your name, your address, your contact details, nationality, residence, domicile, and current role, educational back qualifications as well. And then the second part of that then is the actual motivation statement, which again is describing your motivation, I suppose, your readiness for the program and the, I suppose, the route, post-graduation route that you'd like to see yourself on, you know. So that's the application overview in terms of when you could expect to hear back about your application. So applications to the program are considered and offered. Offers of places on the program are made on an ongoing basis. So realistically, you would be looking at about, once your application has been completed on UCC Apply, you could expect to hear back within 5 to 7 working days in terms of a decision. Again, we do try to come back to you with early decisions, conscious of the fact that you need, in terms of planning for work schedules, but as well as family schedules as well, for example. Now, in terms of the number of places in the program is limited, we do encourage early applications. There is a closing date set of the 30th of June for applications, but again, we are very conscious that people may need approval from workplaces in relation to applying and accepting places on this program. So look, if people are considering making an application, they're conscious that they may not meet that 30th of June deadline. We're very happy to facilitate people with later applications. So again, that's something, feel free to reach out to us in relation to that. In terms of, Damien touched there in terms of start dates for the program, and again saying that we'll be looking to kick off in mid-September. So we do have your initial touch point with us would be an orientation day on Friday the 13th of September. And again, that's, I suppose, the day that we welcome you to the program, welcome you to UCC, and introduce you, I suppose, to the teaching team, but all the support mechanisms that are in place as well. So again, Damien touched on the Skills Centre, UCC Skills Centre earlier. A valuable resource for anybody doing hybrid or part-time graduate management programs. Again, I suppose it's a support structure that's available there to help you in terms of coming back to academic writing, for example, academic research tips, and also, I suppose, providing you with pathways through I suppose the new modern learning environments or virtual learning environments, the online access of information through UCC Library, etc. So again, I suppose try to ease people back into the world of learning. There is a very comprehensive, just going back to the UCC Apply, there is a very comprehensive application support and FAQ section there, and I've left a link up here, and also I've put the link into the UCC Apply into the chat section as well of this meeting. So I suppose nearly everything that we would anticipate that you'd have a question about is addressed in that FAQ section. But I've also put my own email address into the chat facility in this meeting. So if there's any questions you may have, feel free to just contact me directly. And just on a general point as well, if as a result of any of the information that you've garnered from this webinar, if there's any points of clarification you'd like, or even if you'd like to have a one-to-one conversation with any of the participants here, feel free to reach out to myself and I will look at facilitating that for you. So as I say, there's 2 contact emails there. Gillian Barrett, who will be with us following upon her return from sabbatical, and myself, and my telephone number is there as well for direct contact. I'm just going to bear with me for a second. So I've also put this link into the chat, which is our the main website in relation to the project management postgraduate certificate. So again, you'll see that all the information is contained in there, including a link to the application process. Just 1 or 2 things then to advise anybody who has a qualification completed outside of Ireland. There's a qualification comparison link, which again will allow you, I suppose, just to upload your details, and you'll get an indication as to how it matches to our entry threshold requirements. And in terms of international non-EU applicants, if you are a non-EU applicant, I would encourage you just to contact me directly in relation to this issue, because again, given your particular circumstances, in terms of employment history within the EU, you may actually be deemed to be an EU applicant if you meet certain criteria. In terms of fees and costs, so the fees for the year are €4,640. And you can see there that the fees are payable in 2 installments. First payment is at registration, balance usually at the end of January. And again, in terms of any questions or queries regarding fee payments, or if companies are looking to support you in terms of how they would go about paying fees, feel free to reach out to me directly, and I'd be very happy to advise accordingly. So I suppose in relation to the webinar today, in terms of any questions in the chat, sure if there's anything there, Damien, that there. I can't see anything. So again, I suppose in relation to any questions or queries that you may subsequently decide upon, as I say, feel free to reach out to us and to contact us directly. I suppose myself is the initial point of contact at s.ensco@ucc.ie. My telephone number is there in the slides as well, which we will share after this webinar, 021 490 4915. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have and also make those connections with the academics. So Damien and Seamus, do you have any concluding thoughts? Or
there was one comment there from a person that missing one of the on-site days, would it be a major issue? Look, no, it's that's life. You know, there'll be other things. You sound like you've planned ahead the rest of the year. There'll be other things crop up for other attendees, and that's life. But we'll help you catch up because all the material is made available to you. Once we know about it in time. Very often I move lectures around. You might tell me you're very strong on something. You know, I can often facilitate it, give you some work to do, have a chat with you at a break in a separate class. You know, there's plenty of ways to help you catch up. But if it's only one date in total you're going to miss, well, I think everyone's going to miss at least one date. You know, that's just life. Okay.
And as well, just to say that in particular, if any module has a group project element to it, I suppose again on the basis that people will be drawn away by work or family commitments, you know, that group is a support net, a safety net almost, in the sense that they will be there to bring you up to speed, as well as the academics facilitating bringing you up to speed in terms of the actual, I suppose, group work dynamics, and that the expectation would be that your teammates would be very supportive in that side as well. Damien, do you have any concluding comments?
No, just to reiterate that point, that you know we realize that people have lots of competing commitments, and you know as lecturing staff and people managing the program, we do our best, you know, to accommodate that. We've always operated under the policy of sharing lectures and as much material as possible through the online system we have, so that material is always available. And just one final point, Sen, there on the application process, you know, giving us, particularly if there's a recognition of prior learning involved, giving us as much information as possible so that we can make the case for that, you know, is always helpful.
Yeah. So again, I suppose a good detailed CV would be very, very useful to us in that regard. And again, I suppose drawing out any, you know, I suppose the highlights in terms of your own particular role, current role, and previous roles as well. Yeah. And just in relation to that as well, I suppose you touched on it also, Damien, the virtual learning environment that we use is Canvas. So all the materials are provided to you online. Interactions with the teaching team can happen online outside of lecture hours. Assignment submission details are provided online. Assignments are made online. Feedback is delivered, I suppose, in person by teaching team, but also they utilize the virtual learning environment as feedback as well. So it is a very, very supportive virtual learning environment, if I can put it that way, and it provides great interaction tools as well for group work, etc. You know, so yeah, it takes some of the pain away, I think. Yeah. Great. Okay, so listen, I suppose in conclusion then we've come nearly to the hour. I'd like to thank everybody for attending today, all the online participants. Thank you for your interest in our program. Thank you for taking the time to let us detail, I suppose, the content, the structure, the learning outcomes to you. And again, just I suppose really reiterating, feel free to reach out to us with any questions that you may have. And Julian, thank you very much for attending today. It was very, very useful to hear of your own experiences post-graduation, how you've been able to utilise the program learnings. Seamus, thank you very, very much. And Damien, thank you very, very much as well. So with that, I'll just bring the webinar to an end. That's great. Thank you.